Welcome back, guys. Today I'm gonna rank all the songs that have debuted at the top of the Billboard Hot 100s. This tier list was constructed at the end of last year as of 2021, so you will not be seeing the songs Harry Styles as it was, or you will not be seeing Jack Harlow's First Class song on here. Also, I have a little goal for myself. If we could get this video up to 50 likes, then I will rank all the Billboard number one debuts from 59 to number one because we had 59 songs that debuted at the top of the charts. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of great content coming up, so you don't want to miss out. And without further ado, here is every number one debut ranked. So let me explain these tiers. We have the legendary classics, which consists of some of my favorite songs and the songs that I think stood the test of time. We have the great songs, the songs that aren't like at the legendary tier yet, but given time they could reach there. Decent materials, which is self-explanatory. Not quite a legendary song, but far from being hot garbage. We have the not good songs, the songs that aren't really that good, but they're not the hot garbage tier. And the hot garbage tier is self-explanatory. So let's begin. Starting off with the first song to debut at number one, Michael Jackson, You Are Not Alone. As I am a huge fan of Michael Jackson, and I'm trying to put my personal opinions of all these artists to the side. Michael Jackson's You're Not Alone is one of my favorite songs of his, but I don't think he put out, I don't think this is like his best song ever, but it's not quite a legendary song, but I think this is a pretty great song for Michael Jackson. Next we have is Mariah Carey, Fantasy. This is not the remix version with Old Dirty Bastard and Puff Daddy. This is just a regular Fantasy. And I think this one's also going in the great song tier. Now, for all Mariah Carey fans, this is a legendary classic in her books. But for me, this is a good song. But I do like the fact that Old Dirty, he took that song to another level when the remix came out. Next we have is Excel by Whitney Houston. May she rest in peace. Excel, it debuted at number one, but it had like a record run at number two because of the next single that I'm going to talk about. And it's been like forever at number two. Set a record until Olivia Rodrigo broke it. So for me, how do I feel about Excel? Well, I'm personally not a Whitney Houston fan, but I don't think this is a decent song. I think this is another great song. So off the bat, we're starting off with three great songs. The first three songs to debut at number one were all just great songs. Next we have is One Sweet Day by Boyz II Men and Mariah Carey. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first legendary classic. This song right here is a classic. Got snubbed for some Grammys. I don't know why. And one of the big reasons why I have this in the legendary classic tier is because prior to Lil Nas X Old Town Road, this was the longest running song at number one of all time. And I think that from that alone easily puts this in the legendary classic tier. Next we have is I'll Be Missing You by Puff Daddy featuring Faith Evans and 112. And this is my opinion. This song is also going in the legendary classics for being the first rap song to debut at number one. And I feel like this is a very, very nice tribute to the fallen Christopher Wallace. Rest in peace. And pretty much there. Pretty much that. Speaking of Puff Daddy, the Puff Daddy produced Honey by Mariah Carey is up next. Now, This is just the Honey regular mix. The remix with the Locks and Mace is not going to be discussed. But if it's based off of the Honey song alone, it's only going to go in the great tier. That's only going to go. Now, if this is with the Mace, Locks, Bad Boy, this I would bump this up to legendary. But this is a pretty good song. Next we have is Elton John for Candle in the Wind, a tribute to Princess Diana. And I don't have a true personal opinion on this song because I don't listen to Elton John like that. This one I could easily put in the legendary classics. Like I'll Be Missing You, this is a nice little tribute to the fallen Princess Diana. May she rest in peace. Next we have is Celine Dion for My Heart Will Go On. And this song, it was basically successful because of Titanic's success. It really rode the Titanic success. Now I do think this song was vastly overplayed, but I can't help but put it in the certified classic tier. And before I move on, I just want to mention that I failed to include I'm Your Angel by Celine Dion and Robert. So if I had that on here, this would have been in the great songs tier. So I'm just going to put that out there. Next we have is Aerosmith for Don't Wanna Miss a Thing. This song, their only number one hit, written by one of my favorite songwriters of all time, Diane Warren. And they also gave Aerosmith another Grammy. So kudos to that. I think this is a good song. Great song. It's borderline classic. That's all I'm going to say. And even though I'm not an Aerosmith fan, I don't listen to Aerosmith like that, I do know that that's a really, really good song. Next we have is Lauryn Hill for Doo-Wop That Thing. I think that's Lauryn Hill. But now I don't really listen to Lauryn Hill like that. But we do know that she is an icon. I wouldn't call her an icon, but this came off of her very, 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 very masterpieceful album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And it gave her a lot of awards. And for that, this one is a certified classic because I do hear this song everywhere. 10 years later, that song is still being played in clubs. It's still being played on the radio. And it let us know that Lauryn Hill, she's that thing. Now for the next 4 songs, all these are American Idol songs. So I just decided I'm just going to talk about all of them at once. All these songs debuted at number 1 because of the success of American Idol. So, starting off with Clay Aiken. His is decent. Fantasia Barrino's also decent. Carrie Underwood is decent. But I do think Taylor Hicks, of all the 3 debuts, his was the worst, in my opinion. But it's not a garbage song, so I'm just going to put it in the not good song tier. Next we have is Britney Spears with 3. This came around during her comeback year. This came off of a greatest hits compilation. And 3 was pretty much a dance club song. Now, I am a fan of Britney Spears, but I'm not a fan of this song. So, but I think this is a decent song for Britney Spears. Next we have is Eminem, Not Afraid. After the failed Relapse era, Eminem came back strong with Recovery, and his lead single, Not Afraid, is a good song, but on the album he had a song that was better, and that being Love the Way You Lie by Rihanna. With Rihanna, excuse me. But for me, Not Afraid is a pretty good song, because Eminem is being Eminem. Kesha, We Are Who We Are. Same as Britney Spears. I don't listen to Kesha like that. This is pretty much a decent song though. It's not terrible by any means, and it's far from garbage. Trust me, there are some songs that are just hot garbage. Next we have is Hold It Against Me by Britney Spears. Hold It Against Me was the start of her femme fatale era. And while Hold It Against Me is an okay song, I don't think it was a good lead song in my opinion. But this one's also going in a decent tier, by the way. If You Seek Amy, which for many years I thought she was saying, if the title was reading If You Seek an Army. I don't know why I thought that, but If You Seek Amy was a better song than Hold It Against Me in that era. But like I said, Hold It Against Me is not a bad song. Next we have Lady Gaga, Born This Way. And this is a good little LGBTQ anthem. Lady Gaga is for the LGBTQ community. And this, for me, is a legendary classic. I know this is kind of early. This song is about 10 years old. But this is very synonymous. This song is also synonymous to Lady Gaga's whole career. And Born This Way is just, it's an awesome song. Good message, good song, and it's standing the test of time. Legendary classic for Lady Gaga. Katy Perry, Part of Me, next. And again, I don't listen to Katy Perry like that. So I'm just gonna put this in the decent, but I know she put out better, but Part of Me is just a good little song for her. This is decent. Next we have is the Harlem Shake. I could safely say that this is the first single that is landing in my hot garbage tier. This song is not good at all. It sparked the Vine movement and all, but for me, this is just not a good song. Why did it debut at number 1? We don't know. Next we have is Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. The first of a few Taylor Swift songs I have on here. This one is going to be the only one that's going in the legendary classics. Because, again, it's set, again, like Lady Gaga, is standing the test of time. Even if it's been 7 or 8 years since it's been released. And it had, not only it was successful musically, the video has like over billions and billions of views. I don't know what the billion view count is. It's like at 3 billion, something like that. And yeah, Taylor Swift, this Shake It Off, which led off to her very, very successful 1989 era, easily a legendary classic. Next we have is Justin Bieber for What Do You Mean? This was the comeback of Justin Bieber. And yeah, I don't really have much opinions on this one. I do like the song Sorry from this era. But What Do You Mean is pretty much, in my opinion, one of the last few good Justin Bieber songs. Next we have is Adele for Hello. This is her only song to debut at number 1. So for me, Hello, this may be the last song I'm putting in the classics tier. Hello from the Other Side. Because still hearing this song on the radio. This best song is basically synonymous to her 25 era. And if you ask me or anyone who knows a song from that album 25, this will be the first one that'll come to their mind. So Adele's Hello is going in the legendary classics. Next we have is Zayn with Pillow Talk. This song debuted at number 1, in 2016. And we all thought Zayn was on his way. Y'all remember that? We all thought Zayn was on his way, but certain circumstances has prevented him to reach that bar ever again. Pillow Talk was a good little start for him, though. I will say that. I like Pillow Talk. It's decent. And trust me, a lot of these are going to be decent songs. Next we have is Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. And this, if I remember, this song was used to promote his movie Trolls. So it was a good little, it had good vibes to it. And again, this is another decent song. Justin Timberlake put out so much better than this. And yeah, I don't have true opinions on this one. But the next song, Shape of You, I do have some views. Shape of You, written by Ed Sheeran. He got a songwriting credit for Candy Birds because he did sample No Scrubs, a song that she wrote. And Shape of You basically talks about a woman's body. And I remember in 2018, there was major backlash when that song won a Grammy over Kesha and other female artists. So, but for Ed Sheeran, Shape of You, I can't put in a decent tier because this is a pretty great song. Borderline legendary though. Next we have is J. Khaled and his One. This might be the second song. I don't think this song is that good, but I don't think it's garbage at all. If I remember who's on that song, I know DJ Khaled, Quavo, Lil Wayne, Justin Bieber. If I'm correct, they're on that song. But I don't think this is a good song, but for some reason I don't think it's garbage though. I don't think it's a garbage song. Next we have is God's Plan by Drake. Say whatever you want about Aubrey. You already know my opinions on him. I do not like Aubrey Graham whatsoever. I still think he's one of the fakest rappers of all in the game. I'm not gonna say he's the fakest rapper of all time, but he's very close to it. I do not like Aubrey. He's a commercial pluck, if I could safely say that. But for God's Plan though, this one is pretty good of his catalog. This may be, in my opinion, this is probably his last good song he put out. And like his next song, That's For What, which also follows in that route. That's For What is actually a decent tier, by the way, because I don't have a true opinion on that. We only got a few more of these left. Next we have is Childish Gambino for This Is America. This song won Record of the Year in the 2019 Grammys. It also won Song of the Year in the 2019 Grammys. The video was very, very interesting. But the song-wise, I don't know about the song. I say this is another one of those that's okay, but it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's like great, and I don't think it's a legendary classic, but I don't think it's garbage. So I'm just gonna put it in a decent tier. Thank You Next and Seven Rings. I'm gonna talk about these two at the same time because they both came on off the same era. When Thank You Next was released late that year. People don't know this, but Ariana put out 2 albums that year, Sweetener and then Thank You Next, and which the latter was more successful. For me, Thank You Next is a pretty good song. I'm gonna put this in the great tier. Very similar to what I'm doing with Aubrey. But Seven Rings, on the other hand, is just decent. Because I know Ariana put out better. She can put out better. Next we have is Sucker by the Jonas Brothers. First song they did in a hot minute because if you don't remember, the Jonas Brothers, they've been away since they left Disney. But then 2019 they came back, put out this single, debuted at number one, becoming the first boy band to have a number one hit since 2003 when B2K put out Bump Bump Bump. So that was an achievement. So Sucker, the song, this is okay. This one's another one of those okay songs. They're not quite in the legendary material. They're not legendary, nor it's not great. It's not. I mean, but at the same time, it's not terrible. It's a good little song for them. Highest in the Room by Travis Scott. I don't really remember this song much for some reason. It came out in 2019, but like I said, I don't have a true opinion on this. But I'm just gonna put in a decent material. Now we're on to 2020. 2020, if I remember, had like a record number of songs to debut at number one on the Billboard Hot 100s. Starting off with the Tootsie Slide by Aubrey Graham. I think we all in agreement that this is definitely hot garbage. This song is just downright awful. Trying to make a TikTok song, trying to capitalize on the TikTok audience with a very corny, lazy dance. This, in my opinion, was the start of Drake's lazy era, where Drake felt like he could, where Aubrey could feel like he could do anything to get a number one hit, and people will still love him no matter what. But the Tootsie Slide, easily the worst song, easily hot garbage. The Scots by Travis Scott and Kid Cudi. I don't have a true opinion on this, but I know for sure that I'm not really a fan of this one, but I don't think it's garbage. I'm putting this in a not good tier. Stuck with You by Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber had similar tactics of Aubrey Graham, but this song really sold well its first week. That's why I debuted at number one. But if I remember, it had like a pretty big drop off from number one to like, I don't know where, but it dropped big time. And I don't think it's garbage, but it's far from good. This is also a not good song. However, Ariana Grande's next single, Lady Gaga Rain on Me, is. I think Rain on Me is a very, very good song. It was very successful. It took home a lot of awards. Took home a host of VMAs. It took home a Grammy for Best Pop Duo Performance, well deserved. And it was basically like the collaboration of the year of 2020. But if you ask me, the collaboration of that year was Savage with Beyonce, because you heard it everywhere. But not taking anything away from Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, this is a pretty great song. Now, I don't think it's truly legendary because I feel like her Chromatica era came and went. But if you hear this song down the line, it has a chance to hit legendary tier. Unlike Trolls by 6ix9ine and Nicki Minaj, I'm not even going to waste my time on this one. Worst song to debut at number one. Worst song to chart at number one. Probably one of the worst songs of all time to be this successful. And the only reason it got number one because 6ix9ine told his fans to mass buy the song or mass stream. I don't know what he told him to do, one or the other, so he could go number one. And this song only been on the charts for like 3 weeks and then it was gone. Easily hot garbage. And you notice what I just said about mass buying to go number one. This is going to take an effect for pretty much the rest of this tier list. Starting off with Cardigan by Taylor Swift. Because this came off of her Folklore era where she's announced the day before that she was going to do a surprise release. And she was successful at it. Cardigan, though, it's like, how can I say? Taylor Swift could put out so much better material than Cardigan. I didn't feel like it was a strong lead single. I remember it didn't really hit like the 20-week margin. It exited the charts after like 15 or 16 weeks. It had like a big, and it also had a big drop off from number one to number 20 something. But Cardigan, the song, yeah, it works for Taylor Swift. Next we have is one of the most controversial songs on here, WAP by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Now, most if you ask, you want to get two different opinions of WAP from me. On one side of me, I say this is a good little song talking about women's assets. But then the other side of me will say, "Oh, come on! Is there anything else they could talk about other than their, you know, parts?" And I'm like drawn in the middle for this. But the song is doing all right. I don't think it's a terrible song because, for one, Megan did really good on this song with her verses. Felt like she outperformed Cardi B in a way, and so because of Megan's performance in the song, I'm just gonna put this in a decent tier. Next we have is the first of 5 BTS songs we're covering. Dynamite being the first. And for my opinion, Dynamite is a very good song. This is not me being and I'm not even an Army fan. I think Dynamite is a really good song. It did well on the radio. It did well. It broke records until one of its own decides to, and it didn't really try to be like a capital, try to mass buy to go number one, because it's, if I remember, Dynamite lasted a pretty good minute on the charts. Felt like it should have won more awards though, and it, if I remember, it didn't really receive much award love. But anyway, back on topic. Dynamite is another feel good song that gets people dancing. So I'm gonna put that in the great tier. Next we have is Franchise by Travis Scott featuring Young Thug and MIA. The song that took Dynamite off of number one. And again, I don't really have a true opinion on this, but I don't. But it's alright. I don't have a true opinion. I don't listen to Travis Scott like that. I don't listen to Young Thug like that. But song for them, it did well. Next we have is Ariana Grande with Positions, and with this, Ariana Grande set the record for most debuts at number one with her fifth. And this is their third in 2020, by the way. So, my opinion on the Positions is an okay song. But I don't think it was a strong enough lead. I don't think it's a really strong enough lead song for that era. And again, Ariana has put up so much better songs, material than the Positions era. But yeah, this is a decent song. Next we have is Life Goes On by BTS. This is the first Korean language song to go number one. And even though I don't know what they're saying in the song, because I don't speak Korean, I know this is a pretty decent song. This song, I know it lasted like 4 weeks on the charts, but it deserved so much better. It was a different, because it was a different than all their other songs. If you know BTS, they're known for making you dance, and they're known for their dancing. This one slowed things down and talk about some of their struggles during the pandemic. So, and if that's what they were saying, kudos to BTS. This is a decent song. Willow by Taylor Swift. Again, another decent song. Because after she put out Folklore, she decided to move on to her next era, Evermore, which was a sister album. Very similar to what Ariana Grande did with Sweetener and Thank You Next. But I will say this much about Willow. Willow is a far better song than Cardigan. It got snubbed by this year Grammy nomination process. Felt like it should have gotten more nominations. Willow was a was a pretty good song. I don't think it's a great song, but it did so much better than Cardigan. So I'm gonna give it that. On to 2021 debuts. Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. Now, from here on out, I'm not putting no more songs in the legendary classics because this is too early to call some of these songs classics. But I will put this one in the great tier. This song's amazing. Comparing a breakup to getting your driver's license, it's different. It won many awards. It won Best Pop Solo Performance at this year's Grammys. It won Song of the Year at the VMAs. And Olivia Rodrigo has basically every single award show we had up to this point, except for BET, of course. She won Best New Artist, basically because of this song alone. 2021 was the year of Olivia Rodrigo. This was her coming out party. Well, not like that, but this was her coming out party, and I'm really excited to see what her future beholds. She's only 19 years old, and I can't wait to see what the future brings. As for Driver's License, great song, well written, and yeah. Unlike Scary Hours by Drake, well, this is really What's Next by Drake. But if you remember the Scary Hours era where he debuted 3 songs at 1, 2, and 3, this song somehow was the one to go number 1. For me, this song is not, again, like Tootsie Slide, this song is not good. Production absolutely sucks. Aubrey's lyricism was not good. And yeah, this is not a good one. But you know what? I take that back. I'm going to bump it up to the not good song. Because there's a song on here that's far worse than this. Next we have is Peaches by Justin Bieber, Daniel Caesar, and Giveon. And again, this one's another one of those that's... I know a lot of people don't like this song for some reason. But I thought it was alright for the time being. Because Daniel Caesar and Giveon carried the whole song. Bieber was basically the laziest. This is probably one of his laziest performances he's ever had on a song. People may point out more lazier songs than this, but Daniel Caesar and Giveon carried the load. And if it wasn't for them two, this song would have been in the hot garbage tier. Next we have is Montero, Call Me By Your Name. And say whatever you want about Mr. Montero, Lil Nas X. Everyone had their different opinion about the video. But the song's catchy. I could give you that. So I'm going to put this one in the decent material. Not, for me, it's not my favorite Lil Nas X song. That being Industry Baby. But it did well for what he wanted to achieve. He promoted this song very, very well. The radio was playing it over and over, and the video was just amazing, even if it was controversial. So Montero's going in the decent tier. Next we have is Polo G Rap Star. Now, a couple months ago, I did a little video about ranking all the Billboard #1 singles from 2021, and I called this song the most underrated song of that year. I'm gonna put this in a great song. I know this is pretty much a controversial take out of me, but this song right here is pretty good. Talk about the highs and lows of being famous, and talk about the anxiety of being famous. And Polo G, this song should have deserved more awards. Ain't got much out of it, but good job, Polo G. This was your breakout. All right, we got six more of these left. Olivia Rodrigo, Good For You. Because of its record run at number 2, even though it debuted at number 1, it had a very similar stance to Whitney Houston, who is right above her. This is a great song. Basically turned into, this is, how can I say this? Basically like an angry song, and I like it. So Good For You, great song. Butter by BTS. Debuted number 1 off of sales alone. This is when the sales tactics of BTS started to get on my nerves a bit. Because I remember my little back, I'm referencing my Billboard number 1 video again. I said that this song, it was number 1 for too long. 10 non-consecutive weeks. And during the summer there were far better songs than this one. It basically was number 1 for this long because fans kept mass buying the song to make sure it goes number 1. Now, I'm not going to really get into the details of their practices. I'm not going to talk about all that. I'm not trying to make the army mad. So with that being said, now as for Butter, it's decent. Again, another decent song. But I will say this much. I'm one of the few people who thinks Dynamite is better than Butter. I'm one of the very few people that thinks that. Permission to Dance, on the other hand, I don't think that one's a good song, but I don't think it's garbage. I initially ruled this song the worst number 1 song to go number 1 last year because it didn't stay long than the others. But I re-listened to it time and time again, and I decided to give this song the benefit of the doubt. I was going to put this on the hot garbage tier because of its lack of a chart longevity. But I had a change of heart. I bumped it up to the not good song. I know BTS could do so much better with their personalities in this song. Way Too Sexy by Drake, featuring Young Thug and the toxic guy known as Future. This song isn't going to get the benefit of the doubt. Remember what I said about Permission to Dance being the worst song to chart number 1 last year? I'm taking that back. Way Too Sexy is the worst song to chart number 1 last year. And I don't think it's even close. This is, again, I've said it about 3 times in this video. This is the start, the continuation of Drake's lazy era, where Drake could just lazily put out a song, make it a hit off of his name, and he'll go from there. Because now he's caring more about the quantity of his song instead of the quality of the song. Now, the final 2. Coldplay featuring BTS My Universe. And with this, BTS has tied Ariana Grande for most debuts at number 1 with their 5th. They're probably going to get their 6th this year, whatever that song is. And they also tied a record for most debuts in a single year with 3, also with Ariana Grande. Now, My Universe was a slow grower on me. I initially tried to avoid this song. I didn't want this song to go number 1 because of BTS's capitalism practices. But I started to listen. Then I started listening to the song about weeks later when the hype started to die down. And I thought, this is maybe a good little song. Not bad. It's not a terrible song at all. This is decent. I'm only gonna put in a decent tier because BTS carries Coldplay in this song. Matter of fact, I take that back. BTS ate Coldplay alive in this song. I don't even know why they called this a Coldplay song to begin with. So this is definitely going in the decent material. And last but the last song we're gonna cover in this tier list is All Too Well's Taylor's version. Now, this set the record for the longest charting song to go number one in any given, with 10 minutes being like 10 minutes long. And with that and all, and Taylor Swift, this is her fourth debut to go number one. And this is stoked off of the Red sales, her re-release of Red. And people just stopped, the world stopped for her. Now, as for the song, it's too long for me to listen to. 10 minutes is entirely too long to listen to a song. So, that being said, but it works for her practices. So, that's why I had to put it in a decent material. So, this is concludes my Billboard number one debut tier list. And as you can see, I don't have many songs. I feel like I was being a little too nice to some of these songs here. But again, some of these were my opinion, some of these aren't my opinion. So tell me what y'all think in the comments below. What is your favorite song to debut at number one? Comment down below your favorite number one debut on this list. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.